Good day, everybody. Tracy Brown here, your somatic nutrition coach and intuitive eating and body image expert. And I thought I would do a quick little video today about just the idea of daily check-ins and awareness. Now, I know those are hard to do because our culture usually isn't set up that way. We're pretty set up for like wake up and fly out of bed and do all the 10,000 things you feel like that have to be done, need to be done, that are very important. But this process, this making peace with food and body process requires, there's just no way around it, that you are going to become a more self-aware human, whether you like it or not. And it's only because to heal from some of these old wounds around our bodies are too much, or we need too much with our food, or that my needs are insatiable, or I can never get enough, or whatever it is that those thoughts are that kind of spin around in your head and that might inhibit you doing what you need to do with your food. That stuff's all there. And so I was just thinking a few minutes ago about the idea of it's really hard sometimes when we recognize that, yeah, I'm having some thoughts about food that probably aren't all that positive. And I kind of think they're probably not true, but it's just hard to push past that. The first step is just recognizing, it's really hard to push past the idea that I need more food. If you can just name it without judgment, you've already come a long way. And it doesn't matter whether... It's really interesting. Our brains if you've had any kind of too much overwhelm life experiences, our brains are going to be wired towards knowing first where the threat is, and then secondly, to try to avoid it. And then when doing that, we tend not to look at the places in our life that we're really competent or that we get positive feedback and it's true. Either we have a hard time either orienting toward it or accepting it, because the fear of threat is so strong that we'll just negate it, let's say. And so I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of times we're not willing to slow down, do journaling, do body scans the first thing we wake up in the morning. We just want to go. We want to go. Or it's the opposite end of the spectrum, which is it's kind of hard to get going, or everything kind of feels like I'm in a haze. So what does that all have to do with reducing food and body talk? It's if you're willing, and you don't have to keep pen and paper journals if you don't want, if you don't like that. I think it's just being willing first to recognize, I'm kind of recognizing that I'm putting my needs all on the back burner with my food today, because whether that's checking in with hunger and fullness, whether it's just eating what you need to eat, or accepting that you need to eat what you need to eat, whatever it is, just recognizing it first, like I'm having a really hard time honoring that today or doing that today. And this is what I know that's happening in my day. This is what I'm experiencing. And I'm just having a hard time staying in it and present to it. So, for example, I always make fun of myself. Not make fun, but just be honest. Like, I was the queen of repression. I wasn't the queen of denial. I was pretty clear that when I was restricting, I was restricting. When I was over-exercising, I was over-exercising. Even when I was binging, it wasn't so... I didn't get to a place where I didn't kind of recognize what was happening when I was doing it. Because all that felt so compulsive that I recognized, like, that's probably not how the people who have a good relationship with food respond to sadness or to feeling threatened or uncertainty, whatever. I kind of knew that, like, my food and weight thoughts are always the go-to. And I think we all kind of know deep down. It's just that we patterned that in for so long, it feels true. And so what awareness does, it helps you recognize, so I have 10,000 things to do. Okay, it must mean that I don't have time for food and I can get by without it anyway. No, it doesn't mean that. But if you can recognize that you say that to yourself or you think that, then you have a clue, like, oh, I think I'm using food and body talk as a way to try to manage the pace of my schedule, or or how I'm doubting myself, and that's painful, or whatever it is. It gets subtle. Sometimes it's just like you recognize, I'm pretty good at this stuff, or I know that there's ups and downs in this, and that's the way it is, but it's not because I'm doing something wrong or I'm not good enough. And so if you can catch that, you start to get some freedom, because you can't be in denial anymore that like I'm connecting these two things. And now that's where the adult compassion and competence comes, and like, I'm doing that thing where I'm kind of like coupling the two. And I know I maybe didn't have a choice in the past, or any other resources in the past to deal with this sadness, this fear, this overwhelm, this whatever feelings I have. But maybe I do now, because I could see it. I could see it in action. I know what's happening. And I need to start challenging, well, who says, and what's going to happen, and what's too much. You know, the very open-ended questions that really get to the heart of things. So I hope this quick little video helps you. It's kind of a procedural thing. It's not so much like a super encouragement thing. It's more like when you're having these thoughts that probably don't match reality around your food and body, but you're still thinking them anyway, then it's really important for you to like dig deep. You don't have to do the action. And what I find is that like if people like those people who work with me, what I see the trend is that typically when things are not challenging much, I don't hear from them too much. When things feel a little bit like more and they're really pushing is when, you know, the fear starts to set in, like I'm doing something wrong, this is going to be bad, I'm going to eat too much, I'll never stop gaining weight, I'll never get full. When you hear those thoughts and they're based in fear, you know that that's just old stuff that's been coupled, and we don't have a lot of good experience of like doing something that's difficult and having some good outcomes yet. You just hadn't have enough experience. But you know, that's what support is all about, right? So anyway, if you're struggling in a way of like, I'm taking some action and I'm scared, you know you're on the right track. So I want to remind you of that. All right, so I think that's it for today. I'm happy I could get a change of scenery for you today. It's kind of nice. Gosh, not too balmy here yet, and I know those of you who aren't in hot places, yeah, I know that's a me problem, not a you problem, but I just want to laugh about it a little bit. It's like, yeah, it's really nice here today. It's not like I'm not sweating already, just sitting here. So anyway, I hope you all have a great week and a great weekend, and I will talk to you all real soon. Take care.